Good morning, everyone. So I've been thinking of the idea, why has Australia introduced the ban to under 16-year-olds? And I've been saying for a long time now, it's not because of the reasons they say. It's not for child protection. That's not true. And I've said in another video before that you have to look at the lie to see the truth. That's a very true sentence. We're going to pretend this beach we're walking along here is the area that people can watch on YouTube without having to produce a digital ID. People might wonder what that means. They're like, isn't only 16-year-olds or under 16-year-olds getting banned? Isn't that what's happening? Well, not quite. That's not quite what's happening. The rollout of the digital ID in the UK, I don't think anyone will argue with me when I say it's been divisive and disastrous. Some people wanting it and a whole heap of people not. I would consider that rollout of the digital ID a complete failure. I think Australia looked at that and said, we can't roll out a digital ID. All the people that vote for us will hate us and we'll get voted out. So how do you introduce a digital ID without introducing a digital ID? Well, for starters, you've got to create the road that's okay to travel. This road here, this path here, we're just going to call the path that's okay. And the only way you can create a path is by making parts on the side unavailable for certain people, but available to others if you can produce some sort of identification. So let's just say this over here is the danger section. This is what we want to protect our children from, the bad people in the world, and adult websites and things like that. Well, the only way to stop the kids looking at that is by obviously banning the kids. But then, how do you make sure it's only the kids looking at it? Well, people have to produce an ID to watch that part, don't they? Boom! Digital ID. That's a digital ID over there. That's the dangerous section, remember? Where we don't want kids to go because we want to keep them safe. Yeah? Well, the only way to make sure kids don't go there is for adults to produce a digital ID. People might not realise that, but that's what's going to happen. That's what's actually going to happen. It's not just stopping under 16s, it's making it so that adults that go there have to produce ID to prove that they're not kids. They have to prove it. Well, that creates data, doesn't it? That creates companies that are in charge of making sure you are who you are, and collections of data, well, that helps produce with the AI and other companies to make money. Yeah? You can't make it so that people have to produce IDs over here unless you create a pathway in the first place. The pathway is banning the under 16-year-olds. It's not because they want to keep them safe. It's a backwards way of producing a digital ID. I often wondered, I really did, I was sitting there and going, how can they ban someone that's under 16 talking in my streaming chat, but if I wanted to, I could friend them on Discord and that's okay. And I can talk privately on Discord and that's okay. Well, it's not really to stop that, is it? Because they still can. What it's to do with, it's not even banning the young people from looking at the dangerous stuff. It's to make it so when the adults do look at this stuff, they have to produce ID. Any R-rated, dangerous game content, adult content. Then you've also got things over here. This is the bush, huh? But it's also, let's just say, what the government doesn't want you talking about. So let's say forums, talking about how our government's crap. Well, you'll have to produce ID to talk there too. Because you're talking about things that they don't like. Here, no ID. This area's fine. But over here, you must produce ID. So all of a sudden now they know all the people that are talking bad about them and who to, because they're collecting data on this and they're collecting data on this. Of course they collect data on here, but it's not specific. You don't have to produce ID, which means you don't have to go to a data company to turn around and go, this is me and I'm an adult. Oh my goodness, I'm getting sandflies flying all over me. So you have to produce ID to go to these places. Forums, controversial topics, things against the government they don't agree with, and you'll have to produce it for over here as well. Which also means that in here, it's going to go up in views, which means they can put anything here they want. They can put anything here they want. They could put a sexually explicit book about sexual activities that they agree with here, and anyone can watch it. People might go, they're not going to do that. Well, someone was nominated for Australian of the Year and the Book of the Year through a book that was specifically like that was targeted at, I think it was 14 to 16-year-olds, and even the author of the book said they wouldn't care if an 8-year-old read it. And in that book it had all different types of things about sexual positions and all that type of stuff as well. And that would be in this part here. Why? Because the government said it was okay. So they can hyper-focus enormous groups on watching what they say is okay. If you say anything against them in the groups over here, you'll have to produce ID so they'll know exactly who you are. And if you want to watch anything over here, you have to produce something so they know exactly who you are. You have to look at the lie to see the truth. The lie is that they're trying to protect under 16-year-olds, in my opinion. And the reason they're doing that isn't to stop the under 16-year-olds. It's so that they can put a hyper focus on watching what everyone else does. I think it comes out into something like the 16th of March, where adults in Australia will have to produce ID when they click on a YouTube video that's about a violent game, topics that the government thinks are controversial and going against what they say. So they will have an absolute way of mapping over 18-year-olds on watching things that they don't like, who they are, what they watch, their comments, and it will be recorded through data systems, through data companies that will obviously be their friends and do what they want. So that is the reason of the under 16-year-old ban. It has nothing to do with protecting youth. It's all about watching the rest of them. Like me, like you, making it so that I have to prove I'm over 18 to watch anything that they would like to know more about me on. A huge data collection system. And if you think it's going to stop there, it won't, because this is the way Australia, in my opinion, is introducing a digital ID. Social credit scores will come soon, and other things will come with it. If you think about it, it's actually quite clever. It's a hidden way of producing a digital ID that if you said you were going to do a digital ID in Australia, you'd have enormous backlash. But if you say you're doing it to protect the kids from these horrible adult websites, then people go, that's what I want to do too. They always use that system. Look at two gorgeous dogs coming along here now. They always use that system. Hello? Hello? Oh, you're very cute. Yeah, you're very cute. They always use that system. If someone goes, I don't want a digital ID. I don't want to have to sign in with adult stuff to make sure I can prove who I am. And they go, but don't you want to stop kids from watching adult content? Explicit adult content? Don't you want to protect them from the bad people in the world? And people go, of course I do. Wow. This is how we have to do it. Unfortunately, we just have to lose some of our freedoms to keep them safe. Let me know in the comments what you think. But once again, everyone, I believe you have to look at the lie to see the truth. They want to make it so that this line here is exactly what they want. They can feed things into it. They know more people are going to watch this line here now because couldn't be bothered signing in to watch that. I'll just watch other things that are okay. So they can slide in anything in this speech that they want. But if you want to go against them, or if you want to watch something they don't like to protect kids, then you have to sign in, which means they're collecting data on you. And that is the start of a digital ID. Till next video, this is Pixels. Stay safe. Let me know what you think in the comments about what I've said and about what I think. Like I said though, 100%. If you want to see the truth, you have to look directly at the lie. And the lie is that they're trying to protect the children. There's no money in that. So I know it's a lie. This is Pixels, telling you what I think's a lie. Much love.